Are you a free thinker? This is a very powerful opening to my video, especially when you've got these two eyes staring at you as well as mine. Are you a free thinker? Are you a visionary? Are you someone with a big vision, big mission? Do you see in the dark? Can you cut through the illusion and see the truth of all that there is? I mean, this is owl medicine. Owl medicine is much more than that. I know it's all to do with like protection and all of the above, but for the purpose of this video, are you a free thinker is basically about, it's all to do with third eye stuff for me. I've opened 2024 with a bang, and the Great Sphinx opened this timeline for me, which is all about mission and purpose, knowing where you're going. Even Wadjet, the serpent goddess of Egypt, has come online. She protects the third eye. It's all about perception. It's all about vision. Even in the Heka Codes groups and mentorships that I share, that's all to do with seer. Seer is the first Heka creator god we work with, which is the god of perception. Without perception, the power of perception, you got nothing. So that is why intention is so powerful for us. Get my words out. I'm getting excited. So powerful for us because we have to have vision. And once we have the highest vision, then we are able to coast through. That's an anchor. It's our map and compass. So without it, we get lost, right? So that is why I'm asking you, are you a free thinker? Because if that is the case, and that's a big fat yes, then you are going to be pulling all of those divine ideas from your tablet of light, from your blueprint, all of those things, those missions that you said you were going to complete. They're now being recognized through your vision. And then if you can see it, then you can believe it. And if you can believe it, you can manifest it, right? So that is effectively having a heart-based reality, living in the heart, right? Because the heart is a limitless experience. It's a limitless vibration. So everything out there you create is going to be limitless and in flow. Now, if we are living in the head, now the head is a limited experience, which means if that's where you're coming from in your energy, everything out there is going to be a brick wall. You're going to be faced with fear, restriction, lack, all of the above. So this might be somewhere some of us are actually in between, where we're a little bit here and we're a little bit here, but we're kind of here. Do you know what I mean? So, but that's okay, because it's better than just being completely in your head. But it's a good question to ask, isn't it? Are you a free thinker? And the purpose of this video is very, very important because of where we're going. Now we are in the new earth timeline and we're just gathering our soul parts together. We are really, really pulling in the last remnants of what it is to live in the head. So if you are in between, that's okay. That's okay, because this video is going to get you there. So I want to talk about the absolute chaos that's going on out there. And I'm talking about world events. I'm talking about controlling governments. I'm talking about being overtaxed. I'm talking about the disempowerment and the fear mongering and all of the above that is going on out there. And the world has gone mad, has it not? But I think it's a beautiful thing, because where there's chaos, there's creation. And where there's chaos, it means that there's change and transition. So is it coming at you or is it coming out of you? Is it the big purge? It's another question you can ask. Again, it's all about perspective, right? So the closer we get, or the closer humanity gets to living as a free thinker, completely empowered, completely tapped into source and just living their best life, the closer we get to that, the more intense it's going to get out there. So that is an indication that it's like, you're doing good. It's an indication that humanity is indeed moving in the right direction. Not all of us, but there's enough of us, right? So it's positive, positive, positive all the way through. Or you can slip off your perch a little bit and go, oh my God, this is happening in Sweden, that's happening in France, and oh my God, it's all going wrong, which means that's going to give you an existence here. We need to, it's not that we're going to sit here with our blinkers on and not look at anything else that's going on in the world chaotic. It's that when we do look at the world, we have to look at it through divine sight, which means we see the divinity in absolutely everything. Even Anna, grandmother of Jesus, says that. Everything is divine. It has to be, because everything is love. That's the only true vibration of the world. So this is where we have to come out of these goggles and come into these goggles and just understand that's the end game, okay? That is New Earth living. So with these governments and everything like that, I got into a very powerful conversation with my family the other day, like you do at dinner time. And I started to just deep dive into the whole reason why we're here. I'm going to take it back to Atlantis, okay? So, I mean, I know that there was Lemuria before, but I'm talking specifically about Atlantis, because Atlantis was known as the divine masculine. It had masculine energy because it was technology, it was systems, it was divine masculine templates. That worked. It held the 5D consciousness. Everybody was in their highest timeline. And as we know, with that, it fell from grace because obviously, you know, certain things happened. We all know the story of Atlantis. It fell from grace and then it got flooded. And then we went into the dark ages until now. So now this full circle, that was the golden age. We are now in the golden age once more, the golden age of Aquarius. Okay. So we've done this full circle of once upon a time living empowered, okay, as a free thinker, tapped into source consciousness. We didn't have controlling governments and Illuminatis and things like that coming at us. We weren't manipulated like that. It was one love, okay? But then, unfortunately, we did go that route. But this is the reclamation of power. This is the full circle of why we're coming into New Earth timelines. So back then, when we did get corrupted, we got taken out because we had, let's call them governments, the version of governments back there in Atlantis. There was governments that basically abused their power. So then they started to turn on the people and started to manipulate. And that's when it started to fall. But the governments were actually in power with the kings or the pharaohs. Let's cross it over to Egypt a little bit. And the pharaohs were also in business with dodgy aliens as well. So there was a trio. There's a trio of this shady shenanigans, let's say, even back there even when in Egypt kind of like started to nosedive as well. So let's just talk about that formula. So we've got governments / pharaohs / kings, okay, in business with religious people, religious sectors who were also dodgy, okay, and also in business with, oh wow, did you see the balloons coming out there? That's hysterical. I'm not even going to re-record this. I'm going to keep that in there because that's never happened. Balloons, amazing. When I'm talking about religion, bizarre. Anyway, focusing. So we were on religion, right? So we had leaders, religious sectors, and dodgy aliens basically back then. It's the same template now. It's the same template now. I mean, think about it. We've always been overtaxed. We've always had that money taken from us. Think about Jesus when he flipped the table, when he went into the marketplace and got really, really angry with the tax collectors. They were doing that back then. So this is not our first rodeo, right? So we need to refrain from kind of getting involved with all of these marches and everything like that and getting angry, because effectively, what are we doing? We're taking our matched vibration to why the world is angry. We're taking our matched vibration of anger to that march, rah, rah, and getting really upset about what we believe in and how we're being unjust. You know, it's all injustice and everything like that, but we're adding to it. So if we're not going to do that for the greater good, what's the other option? The other option is be a free thinker. Unplug from that and step into your own process of cutting the ties with anything that sticks you into the system, whether you're in debt to a bank, whether you're in the system where you're basically believing in the hype that the governments are telling you. Start cutting it off. Come into your heart. Don't worry about them, because when you tap into your own heart consciousness and everything like that, you will always be taken care of. You don't need them or anything out there to make you feel safe, because that's the ultimate. You make yourself feel safe. We're coming back to that heart of one. So be the free thinker. Now, I just want to bring in a story, because it's always going to be an Egyptian story that is going to, and you know what? There's lots of different versions of this story. I appreciate that. But I'm going to give you the one just to give you the idea of the energy. Okay. We're going to go back to Egypt now, to Akhenaten, right? Now, rewind all the way back to his reign. Okay. If you go to the mythology books, it was spoken about that he was indeed a heretic king. Wrong. I don't feel that that's the case at all. I think that he was a free thinker. He was from Sirius, and we all know he was an alien, and Nefertiti and him were like twin flames. Like a lot of them were out there anyway, we know. And they were very, very much a power couple, right? Now, Akhenaten's lineage came from, okay, the Amun priesthood, okay? So his parents, grandparents, they were all what we call puppet pharaohs. So they were actually in bed with the dodgy aliens. They were in bed with, the dodgy authorities, if you like. Do you know what I mean? The religious sector, the pharaohs, and the dodgy aliens were still going on in Akhenaten's time, right? Which is why he kind of went to war with them, right? So he wanted to cut the Amun priesthood off at the legs and destroy their manipulation of people, because what they were doing is they were fear-mongering the people, saying, well, if you don't buy these religious trinkets, of which they made an awful lot of money on, and if you don't do this and take this potion and do that, you're going to go to hell and you're not going to get to the afterlife, and so on and so on. So they cashed in on the people's beliefs to do with the gods and goddesses and everything like that, which obviously kept them in a place of fear and disempowered them. But the people kind of thought, no, they were following their spiritual path. So they were just chucking money at it, forever being poor, but they thought they were protected and plugged into spirit. But they didn't know that the Ammon priesthood was a little bit shady, right? So this is what Akhenaten went at, because he knew that this was wrong, and he knew that he needed to bring the people back to the original source, which was the sun. So he brought the kind of worship, if you like. He brought the honoring of the sun back in, Aten, however you want to say it. And he banned everything. And he said, right, we're gonna worship the sun. This is what needs to happen. And of course, a lot of people didn't understand that. So they kicked against it. And that's when it all went horribly wrong. He was very, very misunderstood. But I just wanted to share the process of what somebody like Akhenaten was doing, and for the reason he was doing. It's trying to get his people to be free thinkers, plugging them back into source so they could have an abundance of wealth, abundance of spirit within them in an empowered way, rather than being controlled by the dodgy aliens, dodgy governments, dodgy pharaohs, right? But it all went a little bit wrong. So that's kind of the story of that. But isn't that very indicative of what we're doing now? But here's the twist, okay? Here is the twist. In this current timeline, we have Elon Musk, we have Donald Trump, just to name but a few. Now, that might have sent your hairs up on the back of your neck there for some people about Trump. I love him, and I don't care to say so, because it was prophesized that he was the Earth Angel long ago, and he's come in to kind of F shit up a little bit. Love him or hate him, he is definitely bringing ripples to those who stood in the authoritative seat for too long, right? So I'm kind of there for it. I really, really am. You know what I mean? So those are kind of like examples in this now timeline of our Akhenaten. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to bring to the plate here is this, we shouldn't be shocked as to what's going on at the moment, because it's been going on forever since Atlantis fell. So now I can bring the video to the peak and the pinnacle point in between the owl's eyes, third eye, bringing you into the vision. Let's take a breath and take a beat and get ready for my finale. Okay. Right. So now, why be a free thinker? What is the purpose of it all? All of that for your children, your grandchildren, all the rest of it. You who are watching this video right now, you who are on your spiritual path right now, you who thinks that you're not really doing much because you're just being spiritual and doing your meditation and cleaning your energy. That's not just, it's a lot. You have no idea how much of the tapestry you're part of, because every day you're pitching up and you're going, right, I'm going to be a free thinker. I'm going to get this bunch of chains off me. I'm going to undo these shackles. And then you go through something else. And then there's another layer, but you never gave up and you kept on going. And I know how tired you've been. I know how desperate you've been. I know how desperate some of us still are, but I am here to say, keep going, because we are tipping the scales. It's happening. So as we sit right now in this incarnation that you fought furiously for up there to come and incarnate at this lifetime, because everybody wanted to come here because of this is cool and exciting. This is why you're here. And you got this place to incarnate now, to be part of that movement. You were the anchor that you were bringing these codes in, because you said, no more. We know an X marks the spot when the golden age of Atlantis comes around once more, which is a full circle from Atlantis. And I'm going to be part of that. And I'm going to anchor it into my being, and I'm going to set it into Gaia. And that's what I'm going to come together with my collective. So what we are doing right now is we are anchoring those codes as free thinkers. And yes, okay, the whole world is not going to move in that way, but the majority of us are now, which is why the scales are tipping, which is why the energy in the world is changing. So we must keep on going, because to be a free thinker means that you're just freedom, man. Do you know what I mean? You are now able to tap into the Heka, which means you can be that master of in your manifestation abilities, law of attraction. You know how to create shit without any help from governments and banks and things like that. You can use them to manipulate their energy and frequency, which is the highest timeline, to support you, but you're not going to go and pile all your power into them and say, save me, so they can put you into debt, right? That's the difference. We are free thinkers, and we are creating the new earth timeline in every single meditation, step, breath that we take, right? So now this is very, very important, because where we go from here, that's down to you. Where we go from here, that's down to me. What a wonderful, empowering thought to have, right? What a powerful vision, right? So now is the time to step into something like the tablets of light tour, to step into something like the Heka Codes, anything that can actually exacerbate, activate, add to this energy that I'm talking about. Because as soon as you tap into your alchemical power, and as soon as you bring that online, and you kind of like you've got it in you, as soon as you know, you can't unknow, and then you are now out in the world as a free thinker. You can't be convinced to not believe what you already believe, which is the truth. So they just leave you alone. So the more of us that do that, we then attract more people, and then more people and more people. So do you see your presence right here, right now, as a powerful portal you are, is so exponentially important. And I thank you for your perseverance, because it's been flipping hard, right? To be here now at this point of our spiritual evolution, because this is huge, it's epic, it's amazing, it's intense, it's horrible, it's shit. It's just like, it's magnificent, it's all of the above. This is why I call it so bipolar. So you understand where I'm coming from here, that this is nothing new, but understand, take your focus off everything out there and understand why you're here now and what you're doing and why you're doing it, and flick out from that, come into being a free thinker, a freedom fighter. Well, not a fighter, but you know what I'm saying, a freedom warrior, warrioress, whatever you want to call it. Tap into your alchemical power, your Heka, whatever you need to do. And essentially the tablets of light tour is all about that. This is why I'm taking people to the temples. I am not taking people to the temples to just be endlessly teaching, teacher to student. I'm bringing people to remember this, because once you remember it, you're seeded, you're anchored, you're activated. Then you can go out there and do your version of what I do. And that's how we build the new earth. So I think this is a call to action, and I feel a bit rah-rah, Marie for president. Post in the comments if you think I should actually try that or not. So yeah, so I just wanted to share my excitement and my thoughts on what I think about all of this. So, you know, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Tablets of Light Tour, 9th of May to the 19th of May. Heka Codes group, there's going to be a new one in March. And also as well, I'm at the Conscious Life Expo from the 9th to the 12th of February. And I have in my link tree link at the top, little time slots that you can book if you just want to come and chat to me about your Heka Codes, about the Tablets of Light Tour. I'm going to be on my friend's stall, but I will release further details. But if you want to book your slot for that time that I'm there, come and see me, come and meet me, come and chat. Let's talk about this stuff and see how we can get you striding forward in the movement with Marie. Come join the revolution. Okay? Peace.